MovieWeb.com.
He's breeding an undead army. The only thing that stands between him and the annihilation of the entire human race would be us, the Frog Brothers.
We haven't been the Frog Brothers for a long time.
I can't do it without you.
Well, I wanted to begin by asking you, Corey, there's this great scene where Edgar's driving in the truck, and he's smoking a little weed, and you're playing one of your songs with the Truth Movement song.
That's right, Disconnected.
Yeah, so I was just curious why you chose that, why you thought that song was appropriate, and did you consider your other song, Green is the Color? That would have been right
for the Frog Brothers, right? Well, that would have been a good end sequence song, I suppose, right? Well, actually, I had nothing to do with the choice of what music was placed or where it was placed. Basically, we made a deal with Warner Brothers where they decided it would be great to incorporate some Truth Movement music into the film, but we never actually decided where it would be placed or anything like that. That's a creative decision that's left up to the director and the editor, and I imagine the powers that be at the studio.
But it must be pretty exciting to have your music incorporated in the film as well.
Well, it is. It's very exciting because of the fact that the legacy of the Lost Boys soundtrack in and of itself is so tremendous. I mean, as we all know, the original soundtrack was probably one of the biggest selling soundtrack albums in the history of movies, as well as the fact that it generated several hit songs, including Cry Little Sister, of course, which has become a legacy and is now even incorporated in the new Eminem album, which is very exciting.
That's right.
But aside from that, the second film also had a very successful soundtrack, especially considering it was a straight-to-DVD film and that had never been done before, I don't think. And now we've got some music in here, and we have some even more exciting news, which is that we've put together this new kind of idea, this new format to help kind of celebrate the release of the new Lost Boys the Thirst film by merging up with Live Nation. And Live Nation and Warner Brothers are presenting an Evening With type event where we're actually going to be appearing at several House of Blues around the country starting on October 21st. And we're going to basically show the original Lost Boys film. We're going to show some sneak peeks of the upcoming Thirst, and we're going to be selling the Blu-ray and DVD right there at the event. And then Truth Movement is going to be performing a concert and a Q&A about the film, and I think Jamison's going to show up to a couple of them.
That's great.
So
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
it's an entire evening basically centered on celebrating the release of the new Lost Boys film.
Alan, if this is the head vampire, then maybe we can kill him.
If we kill him, and then we just gotta find the one that's above him, and then on like that forever.
They are telling me that this is the Alpha, the OG of all bloodsuckers, the head vampire.
It's a pyramid scheme, Edgar. Always has been.
What if this is it, though? What if this really is the head vampire?
Get this, and get it good, Edgar. As far as I'm concerned,
there's no such thing as vampires.
Well, James, let me ask you, after the second film, after The Tribe, and sort of the misfortunate direction that film took, we'll just say that, how does it feel to sort of be back in this
Eloquently
role?
worded.
And try to word it carefully. Be back in this role that you created and working with Corey and sort of have more of a say in the direction of this film.
Yeah, well, I mean, Lost Boys the Tribe, for me, could have been called Lost Boys the Tease, because I got to be involved. I got to be involved a little bit, but not that much. I was really happy to be involved the way I was in the second one, just to be involved at all. But yeah, this one is much more fulfilling. Get to really bring back this character and, side by side with Feldman, doing our fighting and things like that. That was really, it's been really great for me, and it's been, shooting it was a wild ride. We went off to South Africa, and I brought my family and everything like that. And and in terms of the franchise, I think that everywhere I go, and maybe it's just because I'm a Frog Brother, so people are really wanting to see the Frog Brothers, and so I was just really happy to. I think I'm really, that's the biggest thing for me, is I'm really happy to give the fans what I think they've been asking for. Yeah. Because these characters, back when Joel and Corey and I got together and we were like coming up with these characters, something about it really worked and spoke to people.
Is it kind of like a homecoming in a sense, sort of coming back to having it?
Well, it is. It's like we had a brief moment of that, which was like really the truest, most organic moment in this kind of legacy, which is, I'll never forget the day that we were shooting our Two Corys series, and we had to shoot, the extra scenes which Corey appeared in and Jamison appeared in, it was all shot in one day. So there was that moment where, you know, Corey finally came out of the trailer and Jamison came out of the trailer and he was in his makeup and I was in my, you know, Edgar Frog outfit, and there was the three of us standing there 25 years later, you know, on the set. And that was a really great moment, but unfortunately that moment really never kind of festered into what it was supposed to become. And of course with the loss of Corey, that now is impossible. But that said, there still seems to be not only an homage to Corey and to those characters in this film, but I think that you actually feel his presence in the movie. Not only is the film dedicated to him, but there's obviously several flashback scenes and scenes revolving around his character and what that means to the lore and to the storyline. And the ironic part about it, and most people don't know this, and most people will never believe it, but the fact is, all of the movie that we did and everything that was in there was shot in sequence. You know, when we shot the film, the scenes, you know, revolving his character, revolving around his character, I should say, and, you know, like me at the cemetery with the Batman number 14, that was actually shot while he was still alive. And as a matter of fact, I spoke to him on the phone the night before we shot that scene, and we were talking about the fact that he wasn't in this film and how badly he wanted to be a part of it. And we were actually all standing around talking the next day because he had put out a press release saying, you know, I spoke to Feldman, I'm not going to be in this film, but I'll be in the next one. And you might remember that story breaking, that he was planning on coming back for the film. So we were actually standing around the day that we shot the cemetery scene, you know, with all the other producers kind of trying to devise the way that we were going to be able to bring his character back in the next film, should we do one, and, you know, how it would best make sense to really fit in with, you know, the whole storyline.
So that's my next question. Lost Boys 4, Lost Boys 5, Lost Boys 3D?
Everything's on the table at this point.
Awesome.
You never know what can happen. It's really up to you guys. I mean, the bottom line is, if this movie does as well as it looks like it's going to do, and fans continue to receive it and reviewers continue to receive it the way that it's been received thus far, I think that you can expect to see a lot more from the Lost Boys franchise.
Let's rock and roll.
Just try to relax. This will all be over soon.